1995, only on Nintendo Ultra 64. Killer Instinct.
So, Killer Instinct. What a game, man. Yeah, it's crazy it's been 30 years. You know, I mean, like, I was 13 whenever this game came out, so here's 43. And while there's been a lot of really cool games that have come out since, if I had to take all my favorite games and you know, dwindle it down to number one, this would be it. So I'm gonna pick Spinal. He's actually the first character I ever played as. So there's a lot to talk about. I want to talk about the game in general. I want to talk about my experiences, like seeing it for the first time and things like that. So this is probably going to be a very long video, but that's okay. We're passionate about it, so that's what we're going to do. So I guess I'll just start with like where I first saw the game. I remember me and my family coming out of a movie, and there was an arcade adjacent to the movie theater. And yeah, I have no idea what movie it would have been, right? Something in '94 in October, or maybe it was early. I guess it would have been November, right? This would have been like the day the game came out, but whatever was out then is irrelevant. Don't care about it. Yeah, we went into this arcade that was right next door called Fun Times, and my dad's actually the one that saw the game. He noticed it, and the reason he was kind of pointing it out is because of the pre-rendered graphics. So at the time, my dad was dealing with Autodesk products a lot, and 3D Studio, and got a lot of demo tapes that he would bring home, and I got to see a lot of that stuff. Like, this is before Toy Story, so it was really fascinating seeing not only like the Pixar shorts like Junior and things like that, but just other demos in general. And let me make them boogie. So yeah, he knew what this was, you know, and he called me over there to take a look at it. And my first reaction was just like kind of disbelief of what I was looking at. I'd never seen anything like this. And yeah, it really, not only just the graphical look, but also the fact that I saw Spinal, and it was like, you know, we've been playing as human characters and stuff, which is cool, but I never played as a skeleton in a game, and just the idea that all these new characters that never existed, I would be able to play as, it was really cool. And yeah, just the general vibe of the game, just at a glance, I was like, man, this looks crazy. So, try to set up something here. There we go. So I didn't get to play the game right then. So there were other people playing it, and we were basically just gonna take a look in the arcade, right? Just have a look, but we got other things to do. So, but that same evening, my dad took me to a place we went to a lot called Putt Putt Golfing Games. It was like my favorite place to go. And we went up there, and it was a Sunday evening. That's pretty much when we went, because it really wasn't that busy. I guess everybody else was in church, so the hooligans had the arcades to themselves. It's fine. Two-story building, man. And they always had like the newest stuff. Yeah, we'll make him dance too. He's a doggy. So we go into this place, and I go upstairs to see what's new, and there it was, like right at the top of the stairs. Nobody's on it, and I don't know. You can't really try to recreate what that was like in 1994 to see this new machine. Like right now I'm playing it on emulation, and it looks good on here, but it doesn't look as good as it looks on the actual arcade machine, and especially since you're not spoiled with modern day graphics and CG, right? This was like state-of-the-art stuff here. So but yeah, fired up the game, and the very first character I picked was Spinal because I had to. Got to play as a skeleton, and I got completely destroyed, but it was so satisfying. It was the exact same feeling I had when I played the first Mortal Kombat game. You know, I fire it up, I get completely destroyed. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, but I can just tell from the look of the game, the sound of it, the feel of it, like I knew right away like this game was really something special, and I was really wanting to learn it. So that's what I did. So I would just mess around, right? I played as Spinal. I remember picking Glacius second because he was like the T-1000, and Terminator 2 was my favorite movie. Still is to this day, whatever you think of the movie, that's fine. But had such an impact on me, and that was a time where movies were special. And, you know, I think every generation kind of thinks they grew up in the best times. But, so I'm no exception, man. I feel like the 90s was the best. We had just enough awesome technology, but the dumb stuff hadn't started happening. We won't get into what all that dumb stuff is, but just in general, we were a little more self-contained in our own little spaces, and just basically games were about having fun. So, yeah, played the game a lot. I would learn from people I played against. I would learn from just trying stuff. And then, you know, once I knew about this game, it was all about finding magazines, any details I can find about ultras and all that stuff. So, yeah, every KI magazine I could find, I was picking it up. Now, I got to give a lot of credit to another kid he was probably like 2 years older than me, I think. So I was 13. I think he was 15. He may have been 14. Either way, you know, when you're younger, 1 or 2 years makes kind of a big difference. And I'm just gonna play as different characters. I'm not gonna worry about trying to beat it or whatever. We'll just start over and play as different characters. Which I'll pick the second character I ever picked. My namesake, Glacius. But there was a guy up there, don't know what his name is, can't remember if he ever told me, but he was just the dude that was up there playing KI. So his mom was a manager of the place, so he got to be up there all the time, and pretty sure he got free tokens, and if not, you know, his mom's giving him money all the time, right, keep him busy. So he got to be up there all the time, played the game a lot more. But he was really cool because he showed me a lot of stuff. Now this is back in the early version of the game. I guess it would have been 1.4. This is back when the Rip Tour, you had to pick Rip Tour to do the idle code. It was like left in these three, right in these three. And there were some other cool glitches in it, but it was back then. He was the first one to show me the Cinder 80 hit. I have a whole list of things that he showed me, but he was like the first time I ever saw like the thing with Orchid, you know, fierce cartwheel into quick punch over and over again. He was the first one I ever saw that. A lot of other stuff, finish moves and things like that, but the cool thing was we had a pretty good rivalry going. We were both pretty good at the game, so it was a lot of fun playing him. Now, one moment in particular I specifically remember is one time I was up there playing, and he showed up, and he had two of his friends, and they were even older. They were probably like, I don't know, 17, 18 maybe. And I gotta say just right now, like the arcade was a different vibe. You know, if you're a skinny kid that's younger than everybody else, this is a different world in the arcade, man. You didn't just talk trash to people. Like you could potentially get beat up. It never happened to me, but you couldn't just do like people do now online, where you're in the safety of your home and you can just talk trash all day, right? And you grow up talking trash. No consequences whatsoever. So anyway, they come up there, and it's pretty clear that they want to take over the machine. And yeah, it didn't quite happen the way they wanted it to. So I ended up getting a 20-win streak, like picking them off one at a time. You know, there's 3 of them just trying over and over again, alternating. Got to 20 wins, dude. That was great. It was great being like the youngest one in the group, and it was great beating the guy who, you know, gets to play it all the time. So I remember that, and then there was another specific memory. And then after this, I'm going to get into the actual game. I just wanted to cover this stuff off the rip, because I will undoubtedly branch off into other topics when I get into the graphics and whatnot. So there was another time where I went up there, and he was up there, and when I went upstairs, saw the KI, he's over by it, and he starts kind of grinning at me, and I was like, well, what? Like, what's funny? And he says, look, and he shows me the top scores, and he's reset it. He said, yeah, I got them to reset the scores. See, this was the it's kind of funny, right? Like, on the one hand, I'm upset about it because it's pretty tough to get on the top scores, you know. Do a lot of trial and error to figure these things out, and then to actually nail them and have your name up there. But on the other hand, I took it as a compliment, because it said to me that he felt that he wouldn't be able to beat my scores. So, you know, who's the winner then, you know? So there was that. So yeah, I used to play it all the time, and it's just my favorite game, man. I mean, my second favorite game of all time would be the original Mortal Kombat. There's just too much stuff. It's too much time invested in these games. It's like it's a part of me, you know. So while there's games that you could say objectively are better, it's like, but these are like my kids, you know. You just you can't part with them. So yeah, I remember a couple other things at the time, like when this game's still relatively new. Like KI2's not out yet, so there was one time I was playing, right? And then, you know, every once in a while I would go and play some other stuff. And one of the games I was playing was the original Virtua Fighter, which had come out the year before, right? It's 93. And I was playing, and I could hear this game being played, and I'd always kind of have like my eye, you know, on whoever's watching. And I heard, like, what was the loudest thing that anybody's ever heard in an arcade game. We all know what it is. It's Fulgor's finish move with the guns. And when I heard that, I turned around, or looked over to the side, and I saw it. And I just left my game. Like, mid-game, don't care, middle of a fight. I didn't wait for, you know, to lose and run over there. No. I just ran over there. Hopefully I wasn't too annoying, but I probably was. And I was like, oh my god, how'd you do that? You know? And fortunately, he told me how it was done. The thing about KI finish moves is they're pretty simple inputs. They're not as complex as what you were getting in Mortal Kombat. So, but I didn't know that at the time. So, oh yeah, he showed me how it was done. I was forever grateful. Most people in the arcade, man, they're, you know, you wanted to have your secrets. You wanted to be the guy that knew the thing that other people didn't know. So, you know, that's understandable. And every once in a while, there would be somebody that's like, they wouldn't tell you how to do something. So you had to kind of like, kind of watch them, you know, kind of watch their hands, figure out kind of what it is. But for the most part, people were pretty cool about it. But I don't know if it was the same time, but I remember my dad showing up, because the guy had like a move list. It was like just printed off on, you know, it wasn't like from a magazine or anything. And they started talking or something. He was asking, you know, where'd you get the move list? Or I was asking, whatever it was. But they started he started talking about modems and this, that, and the other. So they were talking about the internet. And if you can imagine, this is how long this game's been out. I didn't know what they were talking about. Can you imagine that? A point in time where you don't know what the internet is. It's not part of average Joe's terminology. You know, absolutely insane. Because he was talking about having a modem and dial-up and phone lines, whatever they were talking about. You know, and I was just like, what? Like you can connect to computers outside of your own and download files and what? It's insane, man. That yeah, what a time. I don't know. In some ways things are better now, but in some ways they're not. But yeah, so those are some cool moments at that place. Now the thing with arcades is that games were coming out quick, and a game like this, a fighting game, I mean they pretty much had a lifespan of a year, and the next thing was going to be coming out. You know, it's not like now where, you know, it is cool that they update games and they keep growing them. You know, so you can end up playing Street Fighter V for 6-7 years, right? That's cool, but you don't really get like new franchises and just brand new games, right? Like you take KI, look how different KI 2 was, and it's like that game wouldn't have existed in modern times because they would have just kept updating this game, and in a lot of ways they may have changed this game to the point where you can't do all the cool stuff you can do because they would have patched out the glitches and things like that. But I'll get into that a bit more. So one other story is Killer Instinct ended up being taken out of that location, but we found it at another one because there were two of these putt-putts. So there was the two-story one that I always went to, and then there was a one-story one that was further away. But during the summer, my mom would take me up there. So this is still before I can drive. I think KI2 was out at the time. I remember that, and Tekken 3 was brand new. Like it was still, there were still characters that were locked. So if you remember, Tekken 3 had time-released characters. So that was a really cool thing. But that's when it was. So I don't know, 96, 97. Yeah, it was probably summer of 97 because I wouldn't have quite been 16 yet. So that makes sense. I wouldn't have been driving. That's unfortunate. I'm gonna go ahead and replay him because I think I can. I should have beat him. I just wasn't really. We weren't focusing hard enough there. We'll give it a go. Oh, well, there's my health bar. So, one thing that would happen a lot when I would play against the computer is I would do kind of single hit stuff, kind of like what I need to do now. You know, when you're fighting the computer at this point, you don't want to get combo breakers and stuff because it's just gonna destroy your health bar. So you would want to do a lot of like single hits. So I want to do like a crouching fierce into an ice pick or something like that. So I would be doing that kind of stuff. That's ridiculous. You see how much that took off? Whatever, dude. How am I still alive? I love it. Whatever, dude. I'll mess with that later. That's the cheating part of KI. All right, who's next? I guess I'll pick. I picked Cinder next, so I'll go and play Cinder. Pick these characters in the order that I played them. So yeah, I go into this place, and you know I might do some combos early on, but you know if I'm playing somebody like Saberwolf or somebody, I might just do an overheads and whatnot. So a couple of the guys, I don't remember if it was 2 or 3 that worked there. They were probably like still in high school or, you know, they're 17, 18, I don't know. They were older than me though, still. They're working there and they come over to play, right? Like, don't you guys have work to do? But yeah, they come over there and they go to fight me. Now, I had a thing where I'd gotten really good at the game to the point where I wasn't having too much competition. And this isn't an arrogance thing at all. Okay, this is a thing about modern times, is that because of the internet, you're competing with the entire world. So then you realize, like, oh, you're not really the best. But back then, you could be the best in your little area, right? Your neighborhood or your friend group or whatever. You could be known as, like, oh, he's the Mortal Kombat king, you know? So that was me. I was the Mortal Kombat kid. I was the KI kid. You know, just fighting games in general. It's like, oh man, yeah, it's him. He's the guy. He's the best. Okay. Well, that's kind of what was happening with this game. There were a lot of people that didn't really understand this game. They would button mash. They would, you know, but they didn't really know how the combos worked. They didn't know the breakers. They'd be over there getting beat up, mashing like this, and it's like, nah, that's not how it works. But so I really didn't have any competition in the game. But if somebody came over and asked, like, hey man, you mind if I jump in? Then I played different, you know? That was the thing with the arcade. Like, somebody's playing single player. A lot of times you would say, hey man, you mind if I jump in? Most of the time you go, no, it's cool. And a lot of times you would wait. You know, sometimes you could jump in right then, but if somebody's like almost about to beat a character, you could just wait until they win. And if they lose, then you could jump in and save their game. Well, that's something you could do in Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. KI actually has something where it doesn't allow that. Once you're about halfway down on your second health bar, it'll say please wait. So they made sure to get their money. So yeah, if you lose, then you both have to pay up. But anyway, yeah, if somebody was like, hey man, you mind if I jump in? I'm like, that's cool, dude. And I would go easy. I make sure I still won, but I wouldn't just like totally destroy them, you know? It's like, let them play a little bit, let them get some hits in, feel good about it. But if somebody came over with their head cocked back, with the attitude, and just puts the money in and hits start without saying anything, all right, buddy, it's on, okay. So what would happen a lot too is, the point was, I would do all this kind of like single hit stuff, you know, like jumping over, okay. So somebody might think that I don't know how to play because I'm just like jump kicking, single hits, okay. Well, as soon as they put that money in, they didn't say anything to me. They're looking a little arrogant. Yeah, I gotta shit on you, man, and I gotta hit you with the humiliation. It's just how it has to be. It's the rules. So that's what would happen. I would just bust out the biggest combos, make them dance, and run them off. So that I said all that to say that when I went to this other putt-putt, the guys that worked there came over, right? And I kind of did that to them. And I just remember they were looking at me kind of dumbfounded, of like, how the hell did you do all that, you know? Like, they thought they were good at the game, and then they just got like, they just had their eyes opened, right? They were awakened in this moment of seeing all this stuff that they had no idea existed in the game. And I swear to you, this is what they said. This isn't verbatim, but the gist of it was, if you show us how to play, like show us the stuff that you know, we'll give you free tokens every time you come in here. And 100% they kept their word. And every time I would walk in there, they had like, you had the coin changers, right? The big full-size ones, but they also had one that was sitting on the counter. And every time I went in there, they saw me. They would take the lid, flip it back, and take a cup and just scoop up tokens. I'm talking like there had to be $50 or $100 worth of tokens every time they did this, you know. It had to screw up some bookkeeping, but yeah, every time, dude. So I play KI for free. I play Cruising World. I play Tekken 3. They had KI2 there. Yeah, it was awesome, man. Now I will say this was really cool. There was one guy that would come up there, who was actually like good, and he would give me a run for my money, and we would go back and forth on wins, and that was fun, man. That was like the first time in what felt like years that I actually had somebody who could like compete, you know. The only thing is he only played Jago and TJ. He wouldn't play anybody else, so that was kind of the only bad thing. But that was really fun. And after that, man, it wasn't that much longer. Just these games just disappeared, and you never saw them again. And you know, I ended up buying a Mortal Kombat 2 cabinet with MK1, 2, and Ultimate MK3 inside. And maybe a couple years later, I bought a Killer Instinct board, probably like 2001, I'm guessing. Because I was like, I don't have enough money or room for a cabinet, another cab, but you know. And I was talking to my dad. I was like, the white layout's not gonna work for MK, and he's like, oh, well, we can make another one. We can, like, you know, get some plywood and we can do the whole thing. So he helped me with that, making 6-button layout just like this, right? This is one that I built, this one here, out of some shelving board, and it's got hat buttons. I think there's an IL stick. There's a Brooks or Brook universal board. I forget. Let's do this one. But anyway, so I had KI'd in, but at that point, man, KI's gone, and it's pretty much just me playing by myself. You know, it was cool having the actual board though, because then I could like try to figure out even more combos, which was something that was so cool in the arcade. Was the what am I trying to say? Just trying to find the highest ultras. That was such a big deal. You know, high scores, that's cool, but you know, this guy can do 34 hits, and I only know how to do 33. Okay. Now you're running through your head like, dude, where can I squeeze in just one hit? Just that one number made such a big difference. If you went from 39 hits and you figured out 40, king of the world, baby. So yeah, that was a big drive for the arcade, and then for me that was something that was really cool to have. You know, considering I couldn't really play versus with anybody because none of my friends were Killer Instinct players, you know? So it was never, you know, anybody who would play with me, it wasn't a question of like, am I going to win? It was like, how quick, right? How much health am I going to have? Is this going to be a perfect? Am I going to, you know, humiliation? What are we talking? But it's not going to be me losing. And if I did lose, it was literally like, it would happen once, and then like a year would have to go by before it ever happened again. You know, you could count it on one hand. It's like, oh yeah, he's lost at Killer Instinct twice. So it wasn't until I was gonna say 2013. That's when the new KI came out. Can you believe that? It's been like 11 years now since that came out. That's crazy. I mean, just the fact that we're even talking about KI, how has this not completely vanished considering the newest game is 11 years old? But whenever that came out, there was a emulation of KI1 in there. So, dealing with that. But it wasn't online initially. And then when they did, I think this is right, when they did Season 2, then that came with KI2, and KI2 was online, and then they added online to KI1. So it's like 2014 at this point, probably 2014, maybe 2015, I don't know. But it's like it's been that long since I've been able to play people who know how to play KI, and that was really fun. Playing that online. Of course, you had the rage quitters. That happened all the time, man. That happened all the time. But it was fun playing it again. But I kind of got off of that because I was like, I'm gonna play this too much. You know, I'm gonna get number one on the leaderboard, and then I'm gonna want to maintain that. And so I didn't want to just keep at it. So kind of stopped playing it. And then it really wasn't until one of my online friends, a guy I met literally playing the Mortal Kombat collection online, whenever that was new, like 2010 or I don't know when that was. Now at this point, you can literally beat Idol by just running the timeout, right? You just get the life lead, and I can just do this, and then we can beat the game. So it's kind of lame, but so I've done it before. But yeah, after that, the next time I really played the game was on the arcade 1-up. So I guess we'll fight him a little bit. I don't know. He's gonna destroy me now. You like get all that health back. I don't know. I guess we can. Can we just chip him out? That's another way to do it. You can chip them and you can run the timeout. There's some other methods too, but yeah, I don't care if I beat it, to be honest. It might be better if I don't, because then we gotta wait through all the credits and everything. But yeah, I didn't play the arcade. I haven't played the arcade 1-up enough, man. I played it a little bit. There's some really good players on there. Yeah, man, it's been months. It's been months since I played. Need to hop on there, I guess, at some point. But I play a lot of other games. This is the thing. I love KI, but like I do play a lot of other fighting games, and not just like the old Mortal Kombats. I play some newer games too. But I don't really dedicate my time to any one game. I still play Soul Calibur 6 a lot. I'll hop on Tekken 8 now and then, but like Street Fighter 6, I play that. But I don't get all the DLC characters and stuff. I just play whatever default characters were there, because there's already a ton of characters to play as. So I guess I can get into that stuff. Okay, so I've talked about kind of my history playing the game, and I guess one of the ways I knew that KI was my favorite game was that if somebody was playing some other game that I liked, it was fine. But I almost had like a jealousy if I saw somebody on KI, you know? Like if I left KI and I looked over and somebody got on, I'm like, what are you doing on my arcade machine, buddy? You know, that's my game. So that's when I was like, yeah, this is it. I mean, the only other game I had that was like that is the original MK. I absolutely love that game. This is the only game to dethrone it. So here we go. Hilarious. So I guess I need to start getting into some of this other stuff. So the game itself. All right, now that I've rambled about my history of the game and how much I love it, let's talk about it. I guess let's just talk about the look of the game. This is something it's such a unique look, and the reason is because it was a technology that came about through necessity and then was pretty much instantly obsolete. So if we could kind of step back for a minute, you know, we start with video games just being, hey, it's a black screen and we can manipulate a sprite on it, you know, and that, to be honest, that stuff's amazing to me. We take all this stuff for granted, but like the fact that a TV worked, you know, a TV or monitor, there's the breast implant. You got to time it perfect. That victory animation, like in reality, she decapitates herself because she turns the swords on and then goes through her own neck. But yeah, just the fact that a monitor works, the engineering to make that work, insane. And then follow that with like, not only can we put an image on screen, but you can actually manipulate the image. So we have black and white, and then it's like, okay, now we got color. That's cool. And then you kind of make it so instead of your characters being a single color, now you got stuff kind of like NES, you know, like, we got multiple colors for a, oh man. We got multiple colors for a character, and then, you know, we got parallax scrolling. Sprites are getting bigger. and just the advancements in the visuals in games was really something to see. Because I mean, we got to see, if you grew up in the 80s and 90s, even late 70s, you got to see video games through its infancy, and it's absolutely amazing. And I don't think you can recreate that feeling, because the advancements in technology now, like, although there are still advancements and things are better and quicker and higher resolutions and everything, you don't get those huge jumps, right? It's incremental. It's like, yeah, it does look better. Yeah, there are more blades of grass out there, but you don't get the thing going from like NES to Super Nintendo, or going from a PlayStation 1 to a PlayStation 2. You don't get that kind of stuff. So at the time, I feel like, man, Street Fighter 2 was like just the best looking game. Prior to it was Final Fight, in my opinion, but yeah, you got Street Fighter 2 looks absolutely amazing, and to this day it still looks great. That's the thing about, you know, doing stuff hand drawn. It's like those old cartoons, man. The ones from the 50s, 60s, whatever. You watch those today, it's like, man, this is absolutely amazing. But if you watch like an early 90s or early 2000s CG cartoon or something, it's like, man, this looks like trash. So Street Fighter 2, I think, is always going to look amazing. But we go from that, from 1991, the very next year, we get a completely different art style for a fighting game with Mortal Kombat. It's not the very first game ever to do digitized graphics, but I think it did it better than anybody else. Like the way the lights were set up, I would imagine that was John Tobias. He was an artist and a, you know, amateur filmmaker, whatever, but he understood lighting and stuff, and I think that's why that game looks so good, because he got like the backlighting, and a lot of people that tried to mimic Mortal Kombat, try and, you know, cash in on the craze, they pretty much shine the light straight on the characters and it looks terrible. But we have that look. And then the very next year, in '93, technology advances again, and we get Virtua Fighter, our very first 3D fighting game. Alright, take a look at these. And then, can you imagine? I mean, look. Sorry, this stuff always gets me. Just like how quick stuff happened. 91, amazing 2D drawings. 92, real people. 93, now we're doing 3D, and that's a cool look, man. I love the old like faceted polygon, flat shaded stuff. You know, no texture maps. I love that look, like Virtua Racing. But we got that, and then the very next year you get this. And the thing is, right, you couldn't do graphics like this in real time. Nowadays, I mean, you can do this stuff, right? But at the time, there are way too many polygons in these characters, way too much lighting, shadow casting. There's no way you could do this for real. So the only way to do it was, whoa! I'll turn him into a frog next time, maybe. That finish move's too good. Yeah, this was the only way to do it, was to do this rendering, and the technology at the time was like, this was like state-of-the-art stuff. And you know, from what I hear, their motion capture technology was pretty new too, because before that he had to do a lot of keyframing, just manually moving limbs, you know, into position, kind of like claymation. You don't have to do every frame, but you do have to put the start and end points. I used to do a lot of that stuff. Like I said, my dad worked with Autodesk products, had 3D Studio, so I got to use that stuff. You know, back when it was all wireframe, before 3D Studio Max. Kind of cumbersome to work with, but it was fascinating technology. It took forever for things to render out, but yeah, that's how I would animate too. Keyframing. Oh, this is no good. Oh my god, are we serious? Come on, come on, come on, come on. And I came back, but I didn't get the low jab. It's okay. It's okay. Puppy lives. Play somebody else. I've already played, man. Yeah, I've already played Center, played Spinal. Let's do Full Bore. So yes, this look is like, this is impossible to do. Like those animations right there, you never seen anything like it. You couldn't do it in real time. So because of that, yeah, this stands out because it didn't really take that long before real-time graphics were getting close enough, you know. Like I was mentioning Tekken 3, that was a really good-looking game, but it's still kind of PS1 quality. I was a little too close. I knew it, but I wasn't gonna risk him coming back, so we just kicked him. It's okay. Yeah, it didn't take that long before real-time graphics was good enough, and so the whole thing is that you can do hand-drawn, right? You can do real actors, but if you're gonna make the 3D models anyway, you've got to make the 3D models, you've got to motion capture it. If you've already done that and you can render or show the game in real time, why would you pre-render it? Because in real time you're going to get like real-time lighting effects from the background, so why pre-render it? And that's kind of what happened. So there was really no need for pre-rendered anymore, which is why this game's got such a unique look to it. So there's a long ramble just to say, oh, the game looks cool, but there's some sort of artifacts, and there's some cool stuff, like because of the video compression, it gives it a different look that you don't get if that ran in real time, you know. A little bit slower frame rate. There's something cool about it. Oh, he's dizzy. There's something cool about it. Then, if we were to talk about the sound of the game, already the sound effects in this game are awesome. Amazing. Love all the sounds. And then when you get to the music, all the music's amazing. And, you know, truthfully, there's a lot of amazing music in fighting games in general. But one thing that's so cool in this game. Oh man, look at that animation too. Holy! I'll get back to the music. The animation. That's another thing that was huge. Not only this pre-rendered look, but like how much animation went into like the death animations, and it's the thing it's so much better than even modern day. Let me just point this out. If I do that same finish move to Orchid, she's gonna have a different reaction. Sable Wolf's gonna be different. Jago, everybody's gonna fall different, even though I did the exact same finish move. And it's the same with a lot of these finish moves, like Thunder when he claps the tomahawks together and uppercuts them. Everybody's reaction is different. It's not just a generic, oh, his head comes off, and we use the exact same animation for everybody, which is what we do in a lot of games. This one, it's like, nah, man, unique animations, which is crazy. So that was another like real special thing about the game. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the first game to ever have a hard drive. So that's another big deal. Like a lot of arcade games started to run out of memory. So it's like they could only do so much stuff. This game, they were like, there's so much cool stuff we want to do. We can't fit it on the board. We need more technology to make this happen. Oh man. So, back to the music. Listen to this. Like, how good is this music? How good was the last stage? And all of these themes are so different from each other, but they all work together, and they don't feel like out of place. And I guess just in general, like talking about themes. So I'm always a big fan when a game has stages for characters. Like, not just like, you know, in Mortal Kombat it'll be, hey, we're on Shang Tsung's island, so here are the stages, and we're fighting the characters. It's cool. It's part of the story. It makes more sense than like, oh, we're going to Scorpion stage or Kano stage. I get it. But I do really like stuff like Street Fighter 2 and the original Killer Instinct and Soul Edge, where each character had a stage. Because it's like an extension of the character. I feel like, you know, story mode and everything is fine. Honestly, like, as much as I've played these games, I couldn't tell you the storylines, you know? I don't really care too much, you know? But what I want to know more about the character just through visuals and sound. I don't, you know, not like, oh, you read the story about who he is. That's cool too, but let me see if I can. There we go. That's a very difficult spot to nail. Yeah, right there. It's a very tight window. I always, man, for some reason, I always feel like he had holes in him when you do that one. Huh. Very strange. So yes, I love this, for instance. It's like I fight Chief Thunder. I'm on his stage. I got his music, and all of those things are part of the character. And it just tells you so much more about them without having to use any dialogue. And I love it. I love it. And then yeah, this theme, way different than what we were hearing with Cinder, which is way different from TJ and Saberwolf. But man, it all hits, and that's the big thing. It's so difficult to take all of these elements, because they can all be cool, you know, like, oh, the music's good, okay, the graphics are great, okay, but if one thing's off, like, it looks great, guys, it sounds great, guys, but it kind of plays like trash, then it's not gonna work, you know. Or if, like, man, it looks great, plays great, sound effects are kind of weak. So it's like all these things they all have to land. And I think that's the big reason, one of the big reasons we still play these games, is because they hit it. They just nailed it, dude. They landed it. The old MK, the old KI, they just nailed it on every aspect. They just got it. And that's why it's still fun, you know? Because things don't have to be super complex. Sorry, they don't have to be super complex or super complicated. I'm getting like super thirsty, so to be awesome, right? Some of the best things in life aren't overly complex, so you know, it doesn't have to be like, oh, we need 800 characters. Nope, I knew it. I'm telling you, dude, there's no fatality that I know of in any game that's that specific. Definitely not MK. But yeah, just to have something that hits and has like just everything's cool in it. This is something, you know, that I feel personally. At some point, we got obsessed with character count and, you know, the number of cars. All that stuff's cool, you know. Like when the original Gran Turismo came out, I was amazed at, like, what are you talking about? You can have like over 100 cars. This is insane. That stuff's fine, you know. But there's a lot of racing games that it's like, man, they might have 1 or 2 cars. That's all you need, dude. That's all I needed in Daytona, Sega Rally, Virtual Racing. It's fine, man. It's like, is the game fun? And those games in particular had like 3 tracks. You know, Sega Rally had a 4th one, but like, really? 1 or 2 cars, 3 tracks? Yeah, but is it good? Because if it's good and it's fun to play and it sounds great and it gives you that feeling when you play it, you're gonna keep coming back, man. I mean, it's really like, if you think about it, a lot of the recreational stuff, like going bowling or playing pool or whatever, that stuff still exists. People still do it. They didn't make like 14 different bowling lanes with 32 pin layouts. It's always, it's like, okay, there's 10 pins down there and they're in the same pattern they're always in. But for some reason, people still do this and it's still fun. You know, or sports in general, they might like modify rules slightly, but you're still like taking ball from point A to point B. And it's like, look how many people obsess over that stuff. You know, They didn't have to be like, we gotta have 34 different field layouts and goal configurations for this to be exciting now. It's like, no, just make a few things and make them great. That's all you gotta do. So yeah, that's the deal with the character count, man. Like, look at these games. Oh my god. Just the worst luck. It's okay. Look, Killer Instinct has 10 characters and then a boss, right? Street Fighter 2 had 8 initially, then you had 12 in Champion Edition, right? Mortal Kombat 2, you got 12. It's like, that's all you need, dude. Half a dozen to a dozen characters. As long as they're awesome, what do you want, man? Because I think what happens now is, we might see a cast of like 24 characters on launch, and we're kind of like, man, that feels a little slim, I feel like I'm getting gypped a little bit. I want 40 characters. And then, they give you 24, whatever, and now the way things kind of work out now, they're deliberately going to add more stuff, right? Or leave stuff out, whatever they're doing, so you can buy more. But it's like, how many are you really playing as, especially like the pros and stuff. It looks like they mostly have like a main character that they use, and then maybe a pocket character in case they have a bad matchup or their character gets nerfed just before a tournament, But for the most part, I mean, these guys aren't like random selecting or anything. They're not playing 12 different characters. They're just kind of like, is it down for 4? Yeah. So I don't really get what the obsession is with like, oh, I need so many characters. Like these games here, like there's 10 characters. I know how to play all of them, and I love all of them, and I'm able to remember all of them. Now granted, some of that is because of when I learned this stuff. But even with newer games, if I'm just playing like a handful of characters, I'll remember what it is. But I don't know, at some point it's like, if you want to be competitive, you're gonna have to know everybody. So even though you're like, man, I only play as these 2 characters, you're still gonna have to study up to learn all the other characters and what they can do. And every time they add DLC, even if you don't care about the new character, now it's like, okay, now you got to deal with them. So I don't know. Is that fun? Maybe. Maybe it's fun. Ah, just missed. I wasn't quite sure if I'd nail that. Oh man, right in there. Awesome victory. Look how cool that looks, man. It's like going back to the original Jurassic Park, right? The older graphics, but it looks better for some reason. It's because of the way it's done. It's awesome. But yeah, I'm not obsessed with character count, man. I'm more interested in maybe percentage of characters that I like. I think that's more important. I'd rather have 10 characters and I loved all 10 characters than 50 characters and I love 12 of them. Right? There's more characters to play as, but I got all these other idiots that I have to fight that I don't like. So, I mean, most of my favorite games, that's the case. Like, I love playing everybody in MK1, MK2, Soul Edge, Virtual Fighter. Love it. Look at that, unique animation. Beautiful. So I'll do that same move to somebody else, see how different that is. It's amazing. It's amazing. So, I've said all that. I'm like, okay, games, this game lands, right? It looks great, sounds great, everything's cool in it. So, why are we specifically still playing this? Why are we playing this in like MK1 and 2? Why aren't we playing the new stuff? Like, doesn't it look better? Aren't there more characters? Don't we have more stuff to do? Isn't that better? It's like, not really. Not to me anyway. And I'll try to explain a little bit, and hopefully you guys see where I'm coming from, or you already agree with me. Love that music too. That's so great. So, one of the biggest reasons I don't play new stuff, right? I got a PS5 collecting dust. I've got like 4 games for it. They're fine, but I'm not like, I don't really care, right? Whenever I've got free time, that's not my go-to. I'm like, man, let me fire up the PS5. And I'll fire up the PS4, like I said, because I'm a big fan of Soul Calibur. Except 4 and 5, I hate those games, but the rest of the series I really love. But yeah, I don't fire it up, and it has to do with frustration. That's really it. That's the first part, and I'll explain. Let's go ahead. Oh, jeez, can't believe that didn't work. So, when I want to play an old game, I turn it on, and that's it. It's ready to go. There's no surprises. There's no mysteries. There's nothing trying to like make me spend more money. There's nothing that's changed in the game. Like this right here. If I were to fire up this game, even though it's my favorite, if every time I fired it up there was a shop, if you know, oh, it's the newest update and I had to update it, and now the ultra glitches don't work anymore, that shit would piss me off, man. Absolutely. Oh, geez, why don't I do this one? And there's another perfect example. They don't do stuff like this. You can call it immature, you can call it adolescent. I don't care. This stuff's fun. This stuff's fun. That right there, that finish move, Orchid flashing people, Chief Thunder, all of this is stuff that they won't do anymore. They won't touch this stuff, and that's another part of the issue. So, first up is the frustration of just playing games, right? Used to, you bought a game, tore off the shrink wrap, took the cartridge, put it in, hit the power switch, and you're playing the game in about 5 seconds. Now, you buy the game, they want you to buy it digitally, so if you do that, you get long download times, okay. But if you buy the game, alright, you bought it, you open it up, there's no manual inside, it's just a disc, like, okay. You put the disc in, it's got to install, right, and for it to install, you have to make sure you've got hard drive space. And these people don't care at all about optimizing anything, right? So, oh no, they got plenty of gigs. When you look at the size of these games, right? KI is an exception, it's got the hard drive, but like a lot of these games, man, they're like a few megabyte. Like really? Like how amazing these games are. Like the file size is like an email, you know? Like how they do that. But these days it's like we changed some terminology somewhere in the game, and now you've got to download 8 gigs. Like, really? Why? So you got to make sure you got hard drive space. If you don't, you're gonna have to go through and delete some crap. Okay. Got the game installed. All right, now what? Oh, there's a day 1 update, so we got to do that. All right, we've updated it. Oh, what's that? Oh, in-user license agreement. So the fun thing, I've now got to sit here with my lawyer and read through this thing, or do what they want you to do, which is to just go, yeah, whatever. That's what they want you to do. But honestly, most of the time, I like to read those things because I hate it so much. I like to soak up the modern day gaming experience. That's what I like to do. I'm like, okay, this is what you want. This is your initial, like, this is your first impression. Like something like this. What was my first impression? I get to see it and I go, holy crap, put the quarter in, play it, it punches me in the balls, and I go like, this is amazing, right? That's what all these fighting games did, and now it's this snooze fest to get to the title screen. It's just all this crap. Sign here, do this. Yeah, read this end-user license agreement. It's going to take you 1 to 2 hours, and all it says is you don't own shit, and we're not to blame for anything. That's all they say every time. But it's fun. It's fun to soak it up. And then after you're done with that, you're like, oh, thank God, we're finished. And then straight into the privacy policy, where they, you know, oh, we care about your privacy. They don't care about anything. Then once you made it through all that, you're like, oh, finally, I get to play this game. Holy crap, I already spent like, you know, not just $70, but they want to sell you like the bare bones edition for that. They took some crap out and they sold you another one for like $100. Okay. Oh, finally I made it to the title screen. Now what? Now what? You want to buy some stuff from the shop? Crap. And then if you are somebody who's like, yeah, I do want to buy some stuff from the shop. Can I just use money? Nope. You're going to have to buy our special currency that comes in denominations that don't match the things that we sell. So we're already, we're just being dicks. That's it. And all of that stuff just puts me in a bad mood. And then I like to play these games single player for the most part. You know, I do love playing other people, but a lot of these games, like KI, it has some issues when you get into versus, where it kind of does boil down into a few things, and sometimes it can be not as fun to play like that. So, you know, a lot of times you just want to do some combos and stuff. So I like to play this stuff single player, and it's the same with newer games. I just play them by myself for the most part. You know, Street Fighter 6, I just play by myself or with one of my friends. That's it. Pretty much play Chun-Li, a couple other characters, but I mean, like, she's my favorite in that game for the first time ever in this series. But yeah, I just want to play this stuff by myself. And what happens is you get a game like Mortal Kombat that ever since 11 insists that if you want to do anything in the crypts, you got to be online to do it. You know, at least MKX was like, the crypts, you can run around offline and items are in specific locations. So, you know, if you find it to be annoying to unlock this stuff, okay, you can just look it up. Okay. Or if you want to unlock the brutalities for both players, because that's another issue with that game. I know I'm derailing, but you had to unlock brutalities, but it's only for one profile. It doesn't share it across both. So in versus mode, if you're trading controllers back and forth, when you're on player one side, you got brutalities, on player two, you don't. So that was really irritating, but at least you could go in the crypt on two different profiles, know what to unlock, and do it. MK11's like, this single player mode where you run around is has to be online. We've arbitrarily made it so that you have to be online. And if at any point while you're playing, whether it's on your end or our end, if it disconnects for a moment, you boot it to the main menu. Even if your internet's fine, if our servers go down, PSN, Xbox Live, anything messes up for just a moment, yep. Friend? So yeah, I hate that stuff. That's another level of frustration. And then, right, implementing things like RNG. You're already having to like grind this game that's not fun to get this currency, and then you go into a mode that requires everything to be running online, and then you open boxes at random and mostly just unlock a bunch of crap for characters you don't care about. Right, because you only care about 3 characters, but there's like 30. So you're unlocking dumb gear, and you're unlocking also, I know, I'll get back to KI, but I just gotta vent a little bit about modern games. They also give you all these like consumables, but they didn't give you a way to activate them on an arcade stick. They put all that crap on right analog stick. I'm like, I'm playing on an arcade stick. There is none. You know? I had a solution for how they could do it. They had 2 button combinations that weren't being used for anything. This was throw, this was stance swap, this was interact, this was nothing. That's all they had to do. Press that and down and whatever. So you've got that frustration of like, oh man, you gotta be online. And then, right, oh, I'm online, okay. You come home, you want to play the single player mode, the stupid crypt where you're running around and unlocking a bunch of garbage. And you're like, it's fine, I'm just going to do that. Well, if they updated the game, for whatever reason, they wanted to add some items to the shop, they wanted to add a new character, they wanted to patch some stuff that they messed up, well, you're going to need the update in order to be online. So it's the same problem. They keep adding, right, every time they update, it's like, oh, it's taking up more room on my hard drive. Just a pain, dude. I'm not into that stuff. It's like this is so much more fun. You know, I said when they cheat like that, but just to be like, dude, just turn it on and just play. And it's like, it's a testament to how fun these games are because I'm not unlocking anything right now, right? There's no KI coins popping up. I'm not unlocking characters. None of that stuff's happening, dude. I'm just playing because it's fun. Because I like the game. That's it. And it's like, that tells you how good a game is. You're playing a video game. Can you imagine this? You're playing a video game because it's fun. And that, besides all the online stuff, right? Besides all that, the shops, besides all that, they, in my opinion, don't make games as cool as they could because of like modern sensitivities in everything. Nothing can be funny, right? Everything's a problem. Everything's, you know, the modern word, I really don't want to get into it too much. But, like for instance, there's no way, you can't play as Chief Thunder, right? Even back in 2013 when they made the new KI, they refused to make this costume. They had an issue with it. I didn't have an issue with it. I love Chief. I love Chief. I got him, he's badass, dude. He's from the future. All these people are from the future. You know, try to tell some guy, you are a certain nationality, therefore, sir, we dictate what you can look like. You know? Get in line, buddy. You're only allowed to wear these clothes and style things this way. They just couldn't handle how badass he is, dude. I'll defend Chief to the end, man. He was like my favorite character at the time. He was the first character I ever learned to do a 10-hit combo with. This was, if he'll let me. He's not gonna let me. I'll try to do it here at the end, but oh man. And that's not it. That's that's way higher. But it was this right here. And I was so proud, dude, because I found it myself. And I was just like, oh, 10 hits. This is the thing. I'll get back on KI here. Is that hit counts these days, like, okay, 80 hits, 90 hits, whatever, dude. But when this came out, and I don't remember what was the first game to ever put hit counts. I know Super Street Fighter had implemented them before KI. I don't know if anybody else had done it, but for the most part, you know, just looking at something like MK2 or something, you know, he did 3-4 hits, 5, but you weren't getting in the double digits in these games. You know, it was like jump kick, teleport, spear, uppercut, that kind of stuff. Some crazy stuff in the corner. Okay, but like for the most part, dude, we're not talking 10, 15 hits. Now you're getting crazy. And I remember specifically the first time I ever saw an Ultra or knew about it. I think it was the first day I played it. But it was Riptor that did it. Let me set up something here. What do I want to do? But if he'll let me. He probably won't let me catch him with his headbutt. Will you let me? Oh my god. I missed it. It's fine. See you later, buddy. See, I was fighting Riptor, and Riptor does the finish move where he gets up on his back tail, or gets up on his tail. Of course, it's a back tail. It does like a bicycle kick on you, man. And it said 22 hits, and I was so blown away that you could do that many hits in a combo. I was just 22? Like what in the world? Blew my mind. You know, this is before we were getting. I want to say, I think X-Men Children of the Atom also came out in '94, but I think this came out first. I might be wrong. But you know, you started to get like those kind of super moves where you rotate forward, press 2 punches, and right, you get all these hits. So it started to become a little less special when like all the Marvel games and stuff were doing that. But yeah, at the time, man, seeing that stuff, I was like, what? Just go right through that. Ah, jeez. It's fine. But, yeah, if I could go back to what I was saying, as far as, like, there's a different mindset. Now, granted, right, the goal was still to make money. Let's not pretend that these guys were just doing this stuff because, you know, I would just feel like making a cool game. A lot of people probably did just want to make something cool, but, like, the companies, obviously, they want to make money. I got you. They want to make money, and we did have to pay for this stuff. We weren't being nickeled and dimed, we were being quartered. But the big difference is that we weren't buying the machines, right? We had to pay a quarter to play, maybe 50 cents, but we didn't buy the machine, we didn't buy the monitor, the control panel, right? So that was fine. The problem is, like, you buy the system, you buy the TV, you buy the game, you buy the online, this and that, and then they still want to charge you extra. Take that, buddy. So, yes, they wanted to make money, I get you, but I really feel that the people that made these games had a passion for them and wanted to make them as cool as possible. They may have had limitations, right? They may not be able to do everything they want to do, whether that was, you know, time constraints or technology limitations. I gotcha, right? Oh, we couldn't put as many frames of animation in as we wanted. We couldn't put as many characters. That's cool. I understand. But the stuff that you put in there, you made it as cool as you could, right? Now, maybe all 90s stuff isn't cool anymore. We're not into boobs and ninjas, all that dumb shit. But, you know, I'm still into that stuff. But, you know, at the time, they were like, we want big muscly dudes, hot babes, big monsters, and just funny stuff. And now, you can't have fun. Stuff can't be fun. You've got to, like, look into everything and be like, that's a problem for this reason. Like, dude, just go do something fun. Just go do something fun. I don't know what the obsession is with, like, wanting to change what other people's thing is. Just leave this stuff alone, that's all. You know, I've always thought, man, go make your games. Whatever games you want, whatever you're passionate about, make your dumb game. I don't care, go play it, have fun. I'm not going to bother you. It's fine. You know, we just saw how disastrous like a game like Concord was. Which, you know, I find it kind of amusing that it failed. Great, but I really wouldn't have cared if it had done well. It's like, fine, go ahead. Play your game with your dumb characters. I don't care anything about it. I'm not going to bug you. I don't care what you do with it. You don't have to change it. Have fun. But just leave my games alone. That's it. Just leave my fighting games alone, and we're cool. You know? That's it. I just don't get it, man. I never had like a band that I hated, and then I was like, you guys need to change your music to suit my tastes. It's like, if I don't like what you do, I'll just... Like, is there not enough entertainment in the world? Are there not enough books and movies and games for you to, like, occupy your time? You have to infiltrate everything and make it suck? Like, these two characters, like, they won't touch these two. Orchid, boob bouncing and flashing people, and, Chief Thunder, I can't do that. So... Yes, these games, I swear, man, these guys tried their hardest to make the game as cool as possible. And that's one of the big differences in games. You can feel like how much they wanted this game to be cool, and it comes across, and they nailed it. And just every moment that you're playing this, that you're playing MK2, you know, other games that you feel are like this, like, that's it, man. You get this vibe, and you're like, dude, this just oozes awesomeness. Maybe it's 90s cheese, right? And people don't like that stuff now. Whatever, dude. I like the ninjas and the chicks and the blood and the dinosaurs eating people and burping, and it's awesome, man. You know, it's not for everybody. That's great. It's not supposed to be. That's why there are different genres. That's why there's different games, different movies. Because not everything's for everybody, so don't try to make it for everybody, because then it's kind of for nobody. Because even if all the cool stuff's in there, there's going to be all the characters you don't care about. And it's like, no, just make these really tight, condensed games where it's like, it's not too many characters, but you're gonna like all of them, you know? I think that's the better way to go. So once it gets too big, it's like, and there's stuff I don't like in the game now. But yeah, just in general, man, that's the 90s gaming. And it's something I think most of us do probably. We talk about 80s and 90s, right? Movies and games. And I think part of that's because it's really difficult to, at least for me, to separate the 2000s. I just think 2000, from 2000 to 2024, it's like it's all one big block of time. When somebody says something, it came out in 99, I'm like, oh, that wasn't that long ago. Okay, yeah, actually it was, but it doesn't seem like it, because it's hard for me to block off 2000 to 2010 as a decade, and then, right, 2011 to 2020. It's like, it's hard for me to do that. But included with the 90s, I think, is a lot of like early 2000s, like the PS2 era of gaming. There was a lot of cool stuff, man, and it's really great going back now because I got such a back catalog of games, which this is perfect timing for it because honestly I don't have hardly any interest in anything new that's coming out. But you go back and play these games and you're like, oh my god, they would never do anything this cool. They wouldn't touch this. These character designs, the things they said, like you're like looking over your shoulder like, oh man, is the SWAT team gonna bust in my house right now and take this game away from me? Nope. Sorry, buddy. I got a physical copy of it and you can't do anything with it. Hate it for you, Keep it physical, man. Stop all this digital stuff because you'll fire the game up and it'll be different. I'm having that problem a lot with the PS5. Like the few times I do play it, I'm like, I didn't tell you to update this. I specifically have it where it's not supposed to download stuff, but I'll get a game and it's like, oh, it's downloaded. I'm like, I didn't want to update the game because all you did was add a bunch of stuff I don't want. But yeah, I mean, do you guys feel like that? Like this stuff's just like, you can feel how cool this is, Somebody get a vibe from somebody, or whatever it is. If you just feel like people are trying to treat you right, as opposed to like the first thing they're trying to do when you walk in the doors, try to take your money, it really changes things. This stuff is just like, man, what can we do to make this cool? Because right now it's like there's the double combo breaker again. They love cheating. Yeah, with the way the technology is, there's very little in the way of limitations of what you could actually do in a game. So it's all about what do you want to do, or what are you allowed to do. That's the thing now. And so they hold back. They're like, I can't make that, can't do that anymore. And the other aspect that really annoys me is when you have a game like Mortal Kombat, some established franchise that we've been playing for 20, 30 years, and now they're trying to tell you that like stuff that you liked about the game is a problem. I'm like, nah. No, this stuff was fine when I was 10 years old, and now you're trying to tell me when I'm in my 40s now what I can or can't have. Yeah, get out of here, dude. You're not my mom. You're not my dad. It's ridiculous. And if I'm able to at 10, 11, 12, 13 understand like what's a joke and what's funny, like I don't know. it's dumb. Puts me in a bad mood. That's the whole premise. That's why I don't like most modern games. Puts me in a bad mood. I'm like, these guys are holding back. They've implemented this crap for their own benefit. They're trying to swindle me on the money, on the way, they want the fight money and coins and all that crap to work. Try to force you to do updates. See, that's the thing, man. Especially now, right? Especially now, you got other stuff in life that you're dealing with, right? And then you get your little bit of free time and you're like, what do I want to do? I still like games. Okay, I'm going to spend my hour of time or whatever it is doing something fun. And when you try to do that with modern games, I don't find that it happens too much. Like I said, the updates and the shop, it's like you're required. They try to do everything like you have to do this. You have to sign up for this thing. You have to sign up for that thing. You have to update. You can't decline it. It's like, dude, you're not mandating anything, right? This is entertainment, dude. This is not a necessity. This isn't. I'm not at the hospital and you're telling me what I have to do. This is just like, this is stuff that's fun. So there is no telling me what to do. Right? I'm the boss when it comes to the games. Right? I press the buttons. It does the things that I tell it to do. That's the end of it. Once it starts trying to be like trying to tell me what I have to do and you're going to be required to sign up for this thing or that thing, nah, it's not happening, dude. Not happening. There's so many games that I've passed up that looked cool that I didn't touch because of online requirements or just whatever it was. Just like, nope. Nope. Not a fan, dude. I'm trying to think, is it just TJ? Is that the last one I got left? I've been rambling a long time, man. Holy cow. Guess we're getting, probably getting pretty close to the end. I'm sure there's something I really wanted to, you know, like I haven't covered everything in over an hour of rambling, but I'm sure there's something else. I guess, yeah, the controls, dude. How good are the controls in this game? And how unique is the combo system? That was cool. And combo breakers, man. Like, combo breakers. We invented them. 94. Oh, sorry, taking a sip. We won't do this. I love fighting games, man. I love combos. But I gotta be honest. When we make these games where once a juggle begins, player 2 can't do anything. That stuff's tiring to me. It's tiring. I think I played everybody but TJ. So we'll do this and then maybe Idle. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. We do launches and then it's like, okay, I can do this combo as long as I find my biggest combo. I can just do it. You know, it's true with Tekken. It's true with Mortal Kombat. And it's like, really? Why? And you can say, oh, there's combo breakers in MK1, which I'm talking about the new game. I hate that name. That's so stupid. It pisses me off because my favorite Mortal Kombat is the original arcade that we've always called Mortal Kombat 1. So it's like my favorite Mortal Kombat and one of the ones I really don't care about have the same name, but it's like, oh, it's got combo breakers. Does it? Like it takes 3 bars a meter. I don't know why that was. Why was that an idea? You've extended combos longer than they've ever been, and then you thought instead of it being 2 bars, let's make it 3. Stupid. I always thought that it should be a skill-based version that took like a bar, and then like the I don't know what I'm doing, so just get me out of this, and that could cost 2 bars. Just something. Maybe you don't want it skill-based because then nobody could ever do a combo, right? That's fine, but it's like you guys got to come up with something for letting both players have interaction. Maybe, you know, a couple of hits here and there that are guaranteed, but we understand the premise of a wake-up game. You get a hard knockdown, and we understand that it's not free, right? Oh, jeez, I jumped. We understand there's a hard knockdown, and then there's a wake-up game, right? You can throw your meaties in there, but you might pressure them, but you might want to not because you might do an invincible wake-up. So it's not 100%. So there's still a mind game taking place on a knockdown, but for some reason, when we flip the screen upside down, instead of it being a knockdown, it's called a launch. Now all of a sudden it's like, no, I launched them, so everything after that needs to be guaranteed, and it needs to take 30 seconds. You know, the duration of an entire Mortal Kombat 2 fight is about how long a combo lasts. It's like, why, dude? Who's this fun for? Just the person doing it, but at that point it's like, let's just play like training dummy mode and just do that. We'll do like combo trials. Ah, almost had it. That's really tough to do. But yeah, combo breakers, man, they're great. You know, they weren't perfect in this game. I do like in KI2 that combo breakers don't kill you. It's one thing that kind of sucks in here. I think they did a really good job with them in the third KI. The combo breakers and then the counter breakers. That's a great mechanic in that game because it keeps the mind games going all the time. You know, I know KI3 doesn't have the same vibe as like this game does, 100%. But they have some cool mechanics, and that's one of them. Is like you never have the feeling like there's nothing you can do, and you're just gonna sit here and wait for 30 minutes. You just like there's always like a back and forth. I love games like that, which is why I'm a big fan of Soul Calibur. Boom, boom, boom. Still love going back and playing like the first one on the Dreamcast. 6 got a little bit more, you know, you can do more stuff with combos and stuff, but those games, there's so many options. You never feel like you just have to block. It's like, no, I could sidestep, I could hop over, I could guard impact. That to me is what makes a game more fun to play, man. It's one thing I do really love in KI2. Like, when it comes to versus mode, dude, I have more fun playing KI2. You know, it lost the vibe. This game just oozes with awesomeness that isn't quite captured in KI2, and it doesn't have the same quality with its animations and stuff. And I don't think the cast is as cool because it's like they replaced a lot of these cool characters, and you know, the new ones are fine, but they're just people. There's nothing super cool about them. But yeah, gameplay wise, all the stuff that you can do in there, it's so cool. Let's break it down. Oh, this game's great. And I tell you something, man. I tell you something that I love. I've seen a few comments. Maybe it's only been a couple, whatever it is, but one of them was recent. And you know, it's talking about, hey, I just started playing this game for the first time. You know, 30 years later. That's awesome, man. How do you even really know about this game anyway? It's great. I don't know if it's because of the Nintendo Switch adding KI. That's probably part of it. Which that's really cool too, man. For a series that's pretty much dead and gone, it's nice to see stuff like Arcade 1-Up and yeah, the Nintendo Switch bring those games back. But it's like, man, somebody who didn't grow up with this game plays it 30 years later, and despite like how old this tech is, they're still interested in it. I love it. Sorry, Wolfie. I love that stuff, man. And I love every time somebody leaves a comment on a tutorial or something, you know, talking about that stuff. Hey, man, I'm trying to get back into this game or whatever. I love seeing an interest in these games because they're amazing. And I guess the big point was like they don't make games like this anymore. You know, like a lot of the new stuff's cool, man. I mean, I'm not gonna say like it's not, but a lot of those modern elements that I talked about kind of puts you in a bad mood. You know, I do play Tekken 8 pretty much just with friends. That's the only time I fire it up when they're like, hey, you want to hop on? I play with a couple of my friends that I've known for the last like 30 years. We have a good time, man. Just like we do in all the old Tekken games. You know, Street Fighter. I still like playing Street Fighter 6. There's good stuff in it, man. There's a lot of cool stuff. But this is just like 100% badass. Love it. We're finishing it up. Running out of stuff to talk about, I guess. When I listen back, I'll be like, there was still more. Look at that. What was that, one combo? 7-hit. Go ahead, combo breaker. Look at that. That damage on a combo breaker is crazy. Yeah, I shouldn't even try, man. I need to just roll in and knee. That's pretty much it. Or just single hit knee. There you go. Just do that. I guess I should beat the game once. You know, watch me play through as everybody and not having to say that right as I lose. Let me, I don't even know where I'm at. Let me play idle for a second, maybe. And then I'll probably finish off with Glacius or something. I don't know. We'll try it. Most of the time, I guess if I'm not talking, I don't like to use that as an excuse, but I usually, you know, I can make it to idle most of the time. Every once in a while you get that, right, because you get this one combo that'll take your whole health bar. I'm not trying to jump right there. Yeah, most of the time I can get up to Fulgore. Usually beat him too, but I don't know. When I'm rambling and stuff, I don't know what I'm doing. This is terrible. We'll just, yeah, we'll do some spam. That was supposed to be a club. What are we doing? Ah, jeez, as soon as I did it. Oh man. Yeah, so anyway, what I was saying is I'll normally make it to idle. The thing is, I'm not like super proficient at beating idle. I know some ways to do it, but the big thing is that whenever I played it in the arcade, if I ever lost to idle, I just reset the game. There's no point in me wasting another game, right? You have limited amounts of money, limited tokens. So if I could play 10 fights on a quarter, why would I spend a quarter to either lose to idle or beat him and then my game's over? So that's why I never really practiced fighting him. You know, I did beat him. You gotta have that under your belt. First character I ever beat it with was Saberwolf. I remember that. But yeah, so when I was a teenager learning this game, beating idle was not part of my toolbox. You know, I have a few little tactics here and there, but let's rock my namesake and see if we can knock this out. Yeah, like Spinal, you know, he's the guy you should be able to get a flawless on, but he's already hit me a couple times here. I remember Spinal being so hard to beat until most people figured this stuff out, you know, on their own. But nice auto swap there. But this was something I figured out on my own. Was like, just do single hits on him, man, because he's gonna break your combo and do like 1 billion damage. How cool is this? The scaling. He's gonna slide. I wish he could slide off the roof. It'd be awesome. Like, how cool were these characters, you know? Get the T-1000, you got the Predator, Terminator, Robocop looking dude. This stuff's amazing. He's not gonna let me have this combo. I was gonna be as short as possible, he still got me. We'll try to get it. Oh. Aye. Oh my god. One combo, 90 damage with the follow-up. Kind of irritates me because I don't really lose to him that often. And I'm just trying to finish this video. And he's like, nah. Nah, not today, buddy. Oh my god, was that a triple combo? Cheating bastard. Oh my god. They gotta cheat to win, dude. They had to cheat to remove my scores. They had to cheat to... Can we just beat Fulgore? Can we just be done with that? Really? Oh my god! I got one more, and then I'm gonna cut it. I'll show the ending, and this is insane. Because I remember I uploaded a video. It was like a short, like one of the only ones I've done, where I was fighting Fulgore, and he got me with a double combo breaker. And I was kind of surprised because that's like I don't ever lose to him, and that was like when I lost to him right there. And now it seems like I can't beat this guy anymore. I don't know why. Oh my god. I really wanted to say something profane, but we'll let it go. Alright, let's see if we get idle. So, if I can get my little pattern working. One win, there you go. Big champ. Oh my god, of course not. Bad timing. Terrible. Shouldn't have taken the risk. Oh my, are you kidding me? Oh my god. Alright. I don't believe it. This is why you just... What a dick. Really? Show up on the other side and didn't do your move. Great. Oh my god. Oh, I hate him. Now, I can just leave him here, right? But I don't have the health lead. So if he stomps his feet and you teleport, he, yeah, if you crouch, that's right. If you crouch, then he comes back to life. But it's just ridiculous, man. That was not supposed to happen. That was supposed to be a nice pick. Oh, really? Backwards? That's how we're cheating? I'll just cut the ending in. I promise, dude. We're done. Alright, there goes his bitch ass right into the lava. What a dick. He's one of the cheapest, man. He's not the cheapest boss, though. I've played some others. He's one of, but holy cow. How ridiculous. You've been playing the game 30 years, haven't figured out how to beat Idol? It's like a roll of the dice, man. Sometimes, and if you mess up an input, you stand up backwards. I don't know. I don't claim to be proficient at defeating Idol, as I mentioned before. It's the thing I practice the least in the game. I suppose I should, create a save state or something in here and just fight Idol constantly. There's certain things you can do. Like I was showing earlier with Cinder, just fly over him, or Jago, if I get the life lead, I can just do light wind kicks off to the side and he'll never move. Yeah, it's okay, but epic game. Even though the ending, not the video ending, but me failing miserably at the end. Other than that, it's all good. Look at these legends, absolute legends, man. Just rareware. Back then, made like the coolest games and packed them to the brim. Good lord. Donkey Kong Country, GoldenEye, woo, Banjo-Kazooie. It's great. Like I bought every rare game that was on the N64. I saw a video once that was like talking about all 12 or whatever it was. I forget. It's somewhere around there. And I was like, actually, I have every one of these games except one I never knew about. It's not a game I would have bought otherwise, but that was it's like a Mickey Mouse Speedway, something like that. It's like Diddy Kong Racing, but it's actually kind of cool, Plays well. But now I have every Rareware game on the N64. Legends, and then the Microsoft era happened, and these guys all went and did something else, I guess. But the team back then, like a lot of these companies, back when Konami was amazing. But most of these companies are kind of shells of themselves. It's not the same people, and the games aren't the same, dude. Not nearly as cool. Anyway, happy birthday to Killer Instinct, you old bastard, and hopefully all of you, will be able to celebrate another 30 years. So, take care of yourself, and hopefully we'll all make it. And thanks for watching. Later.